because the front lines were moving ahead and back, so many transfers of populations are typical for the Great War, and it's also typical that, for example, the weaker individuals such as women or children are dying. So it also applies to the Turkish citizens. I repeat here the line of argument in Turkish school books, but they also haven't mentioned, for example, that at the same time other non-Turkish populations were completely destroyed in Turkey. For example, the Greek population or the Assyrian population, and so it means that it didn't apply only to the Armenian genocide, because the whole ideological project applied to all other non-Turkish population groups. So in Turkish schools, the courses in history are written in the spirit of negationism. For example, the safest way to make the politician in Turkey now, make the politician a politician in Turkey look very suspect, is not to accuse him of bribery or have an affair, but to accuse him of Kurdish or Armenian origin.
Thank you for your lecture. It seems to me that there's a huge discussion on the evidence here. That you kind of say you have ample evidence of genocide, but isn't there a debate on the extent? Well, since you also, as you recognize that there's lack of access to Turkish files, so there's part of the story that it's difficult to access anyway. And then the question about the American ambassador and the British historians and the others, that to what extent do they have access to the political intent of the Young Turks and those organizing, to the extent they were actually organizing genocide? So my question to you is to what extent do you think it is relevant to establish intent to be able to characterize this as a genocide?
For example, Ambassador Morgenthau, the American ambassador in Turkey, at that time, United States was officially in a neutral state. They were not involved in war activities. And he had some long conversations with Interior Minister Talat Pasha, who clarified the whole thing in that, the Armenian population was or is still an obstacle for us, and it's a very dangerous population because of this war with Russia during this First World War. But we are determined to solve this question. To solve this question, this context, bear in mind. And we are intent on solving this question systematically. There are, for example, Morgenthau was shocked as Talat Pasha told him that the Turkish government is very much concerned about the policies, the safety policies which were paid by the Armenian citizens. For example, in the United States, and what about this money? Shall we collect them back as the Turkish authorities? And security policies, I mean. So, and Morgenthau wrote in his diary that it's shocking, it's indeed shocking, because they conducted mass destruction of the people, and then they are concerned about such a thing as security policies paid or bought by the Turkish citizens of the Armenian origin. The evidence of, as far as the political intent is concerned, is, for example, also could be traced in the whole collection of documents prepared by Toynbee, by Lepsius, by other observers, because it's very characteristic that we have at our disposal sources that were provided by different nationalities, should I say. For example, by the Germans, by the Americans, for example, also by the Turkish authorities themselves, because we have had access to some other Turkish documents that were concerning, for example, the pollution of big rivers such as Euphrates, because of many dead bodies that were floating on this river, and what about them, and should we bury them, and there are many evidences coming from different places, and this is a very dramatic evidence, because it shows the whole cruelty of this mass destruction. And it was also a very modern one, because, for example, railway stations or railway as such was used to make this destruction go smoother. And it is characteristic that, for example, many young German officers who were in Turkey at that time and witnessed this genocide were also in the Nazi movement in the 20s, before Hitler took power. And there is a hypothesis that perhaps this experience of this unpunished Armenian genocide that they were witnessing was also a kind of inspiration for them. It's a hypothesis.